controversy,
All right.
including, laws, gun laws, and, about these children that, just get involved in certain things. They can't control their temper, know how to deal with conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a lot to be said based off of this clip that I'm about to get into. So
All right.
I'm not going to preface it other than saying that, but let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to discuss it here.
All
This
right,
takes
sir.
place in a small town in Texas, and let's go ahead and jump into it, man.
Tonight, another child has died due to gun violence. The victim is actually a 14-year-old girl who lived in Baytown at the Village Apartments.
This happened on Village Lane and West Barker Road. Fox 26's Leslie Delespore is live for us at the scene. Leslie.
That's right. The 14-year-old was killed just behind me here. I want to step out and show you. As you can see, over the course of the evening, a memorial has grown, and actually you're taking a look at some of her family members coming out here to mourn her loss. Now, I spoke with some of her family earlier who told me they found the 14-year-old lying here fighting for her life.
She's just a baby. I just buried my brother. Now I have to bury my niece.
Lisa Zachary was home when the gunshots rang out that killed her niece, who she identified as 14-year-old Anaya Zachary.
I was coming outside to go meet my brother, and I heard some gunshots, but I thought it was fireworks, and a lady grabbed me and told me, no, that's not no fireworks, it's gunshots. And I heard my a girlfriend of mine saying, Naya, 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 and it was her shot, and then we telling her not to move, and I had somebody that called the ambulance, and I called my sister to get over here. And Naya, just 14 years old, about to be 15. Her and a boy that she goes to school with was, I guess, beefing, and he told her that he was gonna shoot her and kill her.
According to Baytown police, around 4 p.m., officers arrived on scene responding to a shooting. Police say two teens, a boy and a girl, were involved in some sort of fight earlier in the day. The girl, 14-year-old Anaya, was at the apartment playground. Police say a teenage boy walked up and started shooting.
We found her body just laying there. I seen the bullet wounds when they was taking her top and her clothes off. She had the visible ones. Long right here, and she had one in her stomach right here. And then before the ambulance came, you just already see the blood going, and that's how we just knew she was already gone.
Now, Baytown police say that teen male suspect is in custody. And coming up at 10, hear more from another family member who tells us a little bit more about who 14-year-old Anaya was. Reporting from Baytown, Leslie Delespore, Fox 26 News.
Yeah. So that is quite an interesting story. And before I get your opinion on this, I want to add a little bit more detail to the story here that people may not have gotten from that video. Now, the little boy was 13 years old. She was 14 years old, about to turn 15. And he got a hold of his parents' 38, right? Got a hold of his parents' 38. There was no lock or safe. It was just lying around, unprotected. He stashed, after he, did what he did, he stashed the weapon in the bag and continued like nothing happened. His pops is 61 years old.
Oh.
And the mother's 37. They've also been charged for misdemeanor for access to the firearm, with him being charged with obviously murder in this case. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation, first off?
There's no winners. Everybody lost in this. The kids are lost. Both sets of parents are lost. And it's multifaceted where you can place anger, because depending on where your viewpoint is, there's plenty to be angry about within this entire story.
Right.
I don't know if you're aware of it because I haven't watched it yet, but I knew it was a big buzz about a Netflix show called Adolescence. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Yo, it's literally, I'm not kidding. It's literally almost this same exact scenario. Some little boy getting some like middle-aged little boy in middle school in the UK is getting picked on or something by a girl at school, and he does the same thing. And his parents are held accountable and all of this stuff. And now I'm almost in. At first, I kind of didn't want to watch it because it's so charged with all of these elements and stuff. But now with this real life example, like just right here, I almost want to look at it. But it's literally this exact scenario.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, a lot of it's going to go on. Well, why wasn't the gun, you know, locked away?
Sure.
And you know, how this guy, this young male adolescent didn't know how to control his emotions and, you know, resolve conflict, you know, without deadly consequence. But then there's also another discussion to be had about quote unquote excessive bullying, so to speak. I know that's a word that a lot of us in the male space don't like to address because it seems, you know, soft, and it's like all of us have to go through it and, you know, toughen up and whatnot. But sometimes these consequences of this they're deadly.
Yeah.
And we know how we can be as middle schoolers and high schoolers, relentless. And now with social media and these phones, these kids can't get away from that stuff. So used to, if you got picked on the way home from school or whatever, that was the 20 or 30 minutes on the way home from school. And that's what it was out of that slice, you know, of your day in life. Now it's those 20 minutes. It's another hour when it's posted on Facebook and TikTok. And some of these people are snapping.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you're saying, and when we have weapons available for everybody, that doesn't make it any better. So there's no winning with this type of scenario. And I don't know how to fix it, to be honest.
So what do you think? Do you think that the parents should have just been charged with a misdemeanor, or should they also be charged with murder?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because the girl is still okay. So we charge them. Let's say we charge them all with murder, and all of them are gone. The kid's gone. The old man is gone. The 30-something-year-old mom is gone. The little girl is still gone.
Right.
I don't know how much peace and made whole is it going to make her family.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, is there culpability on their part? Yes, indeed. But I don't know what the punishment is supposed to be.
Right.
I mean, we got a 13-year-old boy here. Do we sentence him to life? I don't know the answer to any of this.
Yeah. So there's layers to all of this, man, which I know we could probably have a long conversation about. One of them is, as you said, is because there is some, even though I don't think it explicitly says anything about bullying, there is a form of bullying in this by him saying, I'm going to delete you. You know what I'm saying? When I get on this bus, and he followed through with it. But to the emotional capacity of a 13-year-old boy to put two and two together, whether you can link it back to what he sees at home, television, and or video games, which is what people are going to get into, but to the point where a boy does that. You know what I mean? That's what they're
no, I do.
13 years old, you know, where I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna know how to even know how to operate a gun. You know what I'm saying? Because most adults, you know, go through training, and you've been in the military. I've been in the military. I've been out on the range, and you still see people struggle to chamber around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Around.
You know, get around, even with a pistol. I've been on ranges, and I'm not trying to make fun of women.
Yeah.
I've been on ranges with women, and they just, you know, having trouble, you know, just chambering, and dudes too. I'm not saying, but mostly I've seen women having issues. But this is a 13-year-old boy trying to handle a 38. I'm assuming this is a Taurus. I don't know if a Taurus is a revolver or if it's actually a handgun.
It might be a semi-automatic handgun. What I say, according to the advertisements I get from Outdoor Adventure all the time, I think
give us some money, but yeah.
I think it's semi-auto.
Yeah, semi-auto. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, the fact that he's able to do this, which I guess you say, well, JR, it doesn't take much to pull a trigger, which it doesn't. But for him,
and by his dad being older, he could have been on the range. He could have been hunting. I mean, you got to remember, some of us are brought up in, handling firearms to that degree. Right. So he could have been somewhat proficient. You know what I mean? Who knows? But he was good enough to go carry out what he wanted to do.
Right. Yeah.
And the sad part about it is, it's so sad that the little girl had to experience that in her family. Mm-hmm. But I also want to take a second, because we're thinking about the young man, 13 years old, and his ability to be able to go carry this out. How was this guy perceiving life?
Yeah.
In order to go do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm I am not apologizing and excusing the behavior, but I'm just saying, for a second, let's just think about how this young man was perceiving life, to be on earth for only 13 years mm-hmm. and prepared to go drain the life out of somebody else.
Yeah.
I've been mad at 13. I never wanted to get rid of somebody, man. Yeah. Yeah, give me back my Starscream Transformer, bro, like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to open you up for it at 13.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's it's as you say, I think this is a complex one, and I guess we'll see how it plays out, man. But we're gonna go ahead and scoot on to the next one. Hopefully condolences to the family.
Also, right quick, you got some comments in here too about this particular story. Manifest and Don and some other folks in here. You might want to check them out right quick, see what they got going on.
Too many times adults are placing outsiders responsible for correcting the needs of what they should be doing with their own families. Yeah. It's a handgun, 13 round, so it's semi-automatic. Okay. So much aggression. Yeah, but
a lot of aggression on both sides. Because we've seen it. We've seen the little lady of rages on the parking lot before. We know they can be the story said that they had gotten into a fight earlier. So this may not have just been verbal torment. She may have actually put the beaters on him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He's a 13-year-old boy, so he probably still in his skinny frame. Some of us never grow out of it like me, but he probably still in his skinny frame.
Well, real quick, because I'm listening to you, but I did look it up. So a Taurus 38 is a revolver, because I heard.
Oh, it was a revolver. Okay.
Yeah, because I see somebody put it in the Pablo Picante put it in there.
Okay, I see him.
If I think about 38, I automatically think about a revolver. My mom's had a 38 revolver. So even though I do believe, being that this is a Taurus, but I'm pretty sure they make 38s or 380s as a semi-automatic pistol. But yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Rest in peace to the young lady, and we gotta do better. If you have kids, having if you have a firearm, keeping it secure, you know what I mean, or just teach the importance. But you never know what's going through a little kid's mind, that they may get pissed off. My parents have a gun, and they told me how to secure it or how to unsecure it, so I can still get it. But you still got to keep it out of the way, man.
And you know what? And sometimes it may go a little bit as just to being and not accepting fine.
Yeah.
Every day. When it's like, how was school today? Fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And how many times do we accept fine and don't go into details? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of layers to it, man. And it's unfortunate. I hate it, especially in a community like that.
Right. Well, let's move on.